So, hey guys, welcome to another episode of All Bass Creations Effects Tutorials, Demos, and Review. Today we'll be going through why and how to EQ your bass. And pretty much, let's go ahead and start with what it is. EQ is pretty much you boosting or cutting certain frequencies within your bass sound, pretty much. So all you heard right there in the opening there was just my bass flat. It's literally my bass flat and this EQ setting. Nothing else. You don't actually need, preamps and all this extra stuff. All you need is a EQ, and not even EQ that flavors your sound, like, or adds saturation in some way. Like these preamps. I'll give you a quick example. Um, let's. This is my bass. I'm gonna play my bass with nothing on it. Right. That's my bass flat. Now let's look at um let's start with the Magellan. So this is the Magellan with just my bass flat and the Magellan's flat as well. No, none of the curves are on. Right? And now flat, the AG preamp flat. And the SGT flat. Um, and one thing you will notice is they all add something to the sound. Even if I was to take this 1073 pre, turn that on, I have that flat. Right? They all add um, just a little slight flavoring to the sound. Very, very slight, but they add something. If you just add an EQ by itself, let me see, let me add one here. If you add a good EQ by itself, it's going to be transparent when it's flat. Oh, it's not letting me run two of those. Well, let's just change this to. And EQs are types of filters, by the way, in case you didn't know. All right. So, yep. See, this one's flat. Let me turn this one on. So as you can see, if you want a really transparent, like no saturation or none of that added, like bass amps and bass preamps tend to add some sound to it. Like usually the company's signature sound is built in there some way, somehow. If you turn on that TC Electronic head and you turn it flat, it's still gonna have somewhat of that TC Electronic sound. It's gonna sound transparent, just like these. The Magellan and the AG are very transparent, but you can still tell there's a difference between the flat sound and their sound. The AG is the most transparent out of those, but with the EQs like this one, they're very very transparent. That's what a good EQ would be. Very transparent, and when you boost or add things, it's not adding saturation. It's just boosting or cutting those frequencies. So typically, with bass sounds, it, depending on what you're going for. So if you're going for more of that mid-rangey sound, of course, you want to be boosting in the mid-range. So you may want to boost at 500 instead of 8. Or you might want to just have like a little frowny face type thing. You may also, might want to do a a cut. I mean, a scoop sound. Scoop type of sound. You want to go with something like similar to this type of thing. And so typically on a typical bass amp or a typical preamp, as you can see I have over here, you typically get either a 3 band or a 4 band, depending on what brand you rocking with. As you can see on the AG, there's a bass, treble, high mid, and low mid frequencies. The low mid is 300. The high mids is are set to 800, and the bass is set to, I want to say 40, and I want to say the treble is set to like anywhere from 5 to 6,000, somewhere around there. I can't remember off the top of my head. Um, and I mean, most of the preamps I use are going to boost around that 40 hertz in the bass frequencies, and then me personally, I generally boost around